Greetings, my dear brothers and sisters in Lord Jesus Christ. In this video, I'm going to address about which is the best Bible translation Christians need to use. The first thing you need to ask yourself is what kind of translation methodology people are using to translate it. In this, there are two categories, namely formal equivalent and the dynamic equivalent. Formal equivalent is a sense where we do word-to-word translation. Whereas in dynamic equivalent, they try to do word to thought equivalent, and there they have a broad range of spectrum. If you start with word to word, you can the modern English Bibles like the ESV, the NASB, the KJV, they all do with word to word, and the NIV is in the middle of the spectrum, and the far end of the spectrum we have the New Living Translation and the Message Bible. That's the first criteria. What methodology people are adopting to translate it. And the next criteria you need to ask yourself is from which manuscripts they are translated. In this, if you see almost all of the modern versions, they are translated from the critical texts. The Nestle Aland text, now this is the 28th edition. Each year it gets updated. Whereas the King James Bible, in this respect, it differs from the modern Bible translation, because it has been translated from, if you take the whole Testament, which is written in the Hebrew, they use the Masoretic text, and whereas if you see the New Testament, it is from the Textus Receptus, also known as the Ecclesiastes text. And when you say about the Ecclesia, what the reformers mean and what I also understand is that the general priesthood of all believers. This is very important because if you see in the modern translations, you see a lot of people, their comments will be there, footnotes will be there. The major ones are like if you see John chapter 7 verse 53 and 8 to 11, the women caught in adultery, that chapter, it won't be there in the Bible. They say it's not attested in the early manuscript. Likewise, the longer ending of Mark. The passage in 1 John 5:7, the common Yohanan. So the women caught in adultery, the longer ending of Mark, the passage used for defending the Trinity, and like such, there are many passages which are omitted in the modern version, whereas the King James version retains it. Why I ask you to not to embrace just King James only, but what I mean is to go for the Textus Receptus is because of the reformers. It's from the scriptures as well as from the confession. I hold to the Westminster Confession of Faith, and in chapter 1, which talks about the scriptures, and in section 8 it addresses that God inspired his word in Hebrew and Greek, and he preserved his word and he kept it safe and pure throughout the ages. So he has providentially preserved his word. The Old Testament Hebrew is the Masoretic text, and the New Testament, it is the Textus Receptus. So these are the two criteria you need to look forward when you buy a Bible. So in my opinion, based on these two criteria, I think that King James Bible does a good job on that. May God bless you all.